Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Tonight, we are continuing Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K.A. Applegate. I was cool. I was fine. I slept okay. There were dreams, but I just put them out of my mind. When I got up the next morning, I ignored the fact that my dad's eyes were red, like he'd been crying. He was getting worse, not better, as we got closer to Sunday, to the second-year anniversary of my mom's death. But I had to put that out of my mind, too. I had to put a lot of things out of my mind. It was getting to be a habit. I saw Jake in the hallway at school. I pretended not to notice him. I saw Rachel, too. She had a dark look in her eyes, like she hadn't slept, like something was really wrong. Even Cassie seemed grim. It had gone to all of us. It's not so easy to just forget terror. It's not easy to just ignore the memory of your leg being ripped off, of being dismembered, torn apart. One of these days, I thought, one of us is going to go crazy. Totally lock me up in a rubber room nutso. It was too much. This wasn't how life was supposed to be. One of us would snap. One of us would lose it. It could happen. Even to strong people. I knew. That happened to my father. I used to think nothing could ever destroy him. But my mom's death had. He used to be an engineer, a scientist, really. He's incredibly smart. We had a nice house. We had a nice car. I used to live practically next door to Jake. I knew all that stuff isn't important. I, I know having things isn't what life is about. But it was still hard when my dad just stopped going to work. Jerry, his boss, tried to be nice. He gave him a couple weeks to deal with losing Mom. A couple weeks was not enough. My dad's a janitor now, part-time. He gets jobs with a temporary service. He unpacks boxes at department stores, that kind of thing. But I don't care what kind of job he has. That doesn't matter. What matters is that when I lost my mom, I lost my dad too. See, people can snap. People can lose it. I know. I cruised through the morning classes. No big deal. At lunch, I ended up at a table with Rachel. She didn't seem to notice me. She was just hunched over her meal, eating mechanically. A girl named Jessica came walking past with her tray. She bumped into Rachel, which made Rachel drop her fork. It splattered down in the food on her tray. I don't know if Jessica did it deliberately or not. She's the kind of girl who thinks she's tough. Watch it! Rachel snapped. What? Jessica demanded, acting outraged. Are you yelling at me? Don't give me any of your mouth. I might have to slap it for you. Then she shoved against Rachel's back. In a flash, Rachel was up out of her seat. She spun around. She grabbed Jessica by the collar of her sweatshirt and pushed the girl back against the next table. Jessica probably outweighs Rachel by 50 pounds, but it didn't matter. Rachel had her on her back on the table, scattering dishes and food everywhere. Rachel leaned over Jessica and, in a voice of cold steel, said, "Don't touch me." I saw Jake across the room, too far away to intervene. Cassie was with him. It was up to me. I jumped up and raced to Rachel. I took a deep breath and shoved both my arms between them. "Back off, Marco," Rachel said. "Get her off me. She's crazy." Jessica cried. I pushed against Rachel, trying to force her off Jessica. Suddenly, Jessica started lashing out. I assumed she was trying to hit Rachel. She missed. Ow! I grabbed my left eye. "What are you hitting me for?" And that's when the first teacher showed up. 5 minutes later, Jessica, Rachel, and I were sitting in the assistant principal's office. Chapman's office. Jessica was acting outraged in a very loud voice. Rachel was staring stonily ahead. I was wondering whether my eye would just keep swelling up. Chapman glared at us. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. "Fighting in the lunchroom? And you, Rachel, of all people. What? Like you think that she's better than me?" Jessica demanded. Chapman ignored her. He focused on Rachel. "Something the matter? Mr. Halloran says you started the fight. Are you okay, Rachel? Is there some kind of stress in your life?" For a split second, I was afraid. The look in Rachel's eyes was dangerous. I had this terrible flash of her saying, "Yeah, Mr. Chapman, I am a little stressed. I nearly got killed turning into an ant to sneak into your basement to fight you and the rest of your evil Yerk friends." I knew Rachel was too cool for anything like that, but then I would have said she was too cool to start a fight in the lunchroom. "It's my fault, Mr. Chapman," I said. "Your fault?" His eyes narrowed. Yes, sir. They were fighting over me. See, they both want me. They're both madly in love with me, and I can certainly understand why. Can't you? Are you crazy, you little toad?" Jessica shrieked. But when I glanced over at Rachel, I saw just the slightest little tugging at the corner of her mouth, the beginnings of a smile. Chapman yelled at us for a few minutes and told us all to make appointments with the school counselor. Then he let us go. In the hallway outside his office, Rachel walked with me. "I wish I could do that," she said. "What?" "Always think things are funny. It's why you're so, you know, cool and in control." Me? Cool and in control? The idea surprised me. Rachel thought I was in control? Yesterday, last night, it got to me, she said. She shrugged. Then she smiled her supermodel smile at me. "You grind my nerves sometimes, Marco. Always joking the way you do. But keep it up, okay? We need a sense of humor." humor? You thought I was kidding? You mean you and Jessica aren't both insanely in love with me? Dream on, Marco, she said. Okay, like, oh god. Not even, not even halfway through the reading of this chapter, my husband walked in, was starting to do things, and I'm actually very shy about sort of doing what I call acting in front of people. So yeah, that this this reading of this chapter has been the hardest of any dramatic reading I have done so far. I mean, holy shit. I don't know what the fuck was going on. He was messing with stuff. I mean, I thought I heard sounds, but like I'm just probably imagining like a paper's rustling just because that's the papers do that sometimes, you know, things are fall or move. And then I just turn just a little and I see him. I'm like, oh, well, this isn't just my imagination. Someone's actually in the room. Usually, with the closed door, that's the sign not to come in. So, sorry. Like when I noticed he was actually in here, I was about to fucking just burst down laughing. Like I'm like, no, this is an emotional moment where Marco's talking about his father and the hardships, and then it's not. There's no way to do an impromptu, you know, laugh during that point like that. I've been bottling this up the whole time doing the reading. I'm sorry. I'm fucking so sorry. Okay, let me. It did actually help me with the last part of the chapter because that was really helpful with that nervousness. Originally, I wasn't really nervous, but I'm already nervous, and so I should make the emotions I'm feeling at the moment go into my acting. So that was that. It wasn't originally supposed to be nervous. It was originally supposed to be Marco being all cool and sly, but maybe that gave it a much better reading. Please comment below and let me know. But anyways, finally about this chapter, I'm a multi-shipper. You know, I'll ship all the ships, even if connecting the ships doesn't make sense. And it's really hard for me to figure out this mindset. People are like, well, if you ship this one thing, you can't ship the others. And like, fuck you, I'm shipping all the ships, even if, you know, they don't connect. You know, and it's really, I just want to ship all the ships. So with Rachel, die hard Rachel Tobias shipper. However, I do like the whole idea of Marco and Rachel getting together. And like at the end of this chapter when they're a little talking, it's like, oh, just kiss you two. Just kiss. I mean, I also, yeah, it's like, just kiss. They're so cute, you two. But anyways, what did you think about this chapter? Please comment below, and remember, no major spoilers. If you want to talk about some major spoilers, if you're watching on the YouTubes, link in the description to my Tumblr Ask Box. And, you know, just talk about your favorite fan theories or anything else. Now, I want to do this, make this no spoilers thing a rule here on the dramatic readings because I'm hoping that people will be brought into the Animorphs fandom via these videos. And yeah, there's a couple great twists and turns throughout the series that for better or worse you need to experience without any knowledge that they're about to happen. So, yeah. And if you are one of those people that are like, hey, I love this little chapter of Animorphs Notify the Predator by Kay Applegate, and I would like to own my own copy. Well, good sir, ma'am, or whatever you go by. If you are watching on the YouTubes, link in the description. And if you're watching on my blog, link down below. And both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K.A. Applegate. And hey, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please like this video because it is awesome, and subscribe to my YouTube channel because everything I do is awesome. And if you're watching on my blog and watching on the desktop version of my blog, go choose the follow by email option so you will never miss one of my blog posts ever again, unless you change your email, in which case, re-choose the follow by email option. Okay, the real life segment. I think I did sort of a good real life segment right after the video. I'm sorry, I just had to burst out laughing for a good few minutes. I don't know why, it just sort of helped me. And I'm just going to say that was my real life segment. And now into the hopeful wishes. The hopeful wishes is the segment where I say some hopeful wishes and I drink. And tonight's drink of choice is water. And if you would like to join in this segment, you can join in 2 ways. The first is you can send a hopeful wish. All you have to do is really simply comment below. And if another way to join in with me is to drink along with me. Drink your favorite alcohol, liqueur, whatever the fuck's lying around. And if you don't drink for whatever reason, drink water, tea, coffee, whatever. Sometimes late at night, I definitely need coffee. I mean, I have acid reflux. It's like, do I want to get this shit done or do I want to fall asleep? So, yeah. So, no one submitted any hopeful wishes for this episode. So, I will make up some of my own. First off, I hope that everyone is doing good both mentally and physically, because none of us need to deal with any medical bullshit. I hope that Rev Resner continues with a good recovery. I also hope that everyone in the US tomorrow is able to go out and vote. Of course, I can say I hope that, whatever you want to happen will happen, because I am very well aware of the nature of the world that we do not all agree on everything. So, it's might have an impossibility there. I hope you all get to vote tomorrow if you haven't already. And, just send on some little voice on the net going, please vote. Vote. If you're in the US, you'd sort of need to. If you can affect how the country goes, for better or worse. So, okay, I think that's it. And I'm going to start drinking, so prepare your drinks, and I will begin in 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Next episode will be more of Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K. Applegate, and that will air later tonight. Bye.